This is Marketing Jam, a show featuring the brightest minds in marketing.
Brought to you by Canada Post. Head to canadapost.ca/insight podcast for ideas to add value to your marketing.
All right, everyone, welcome to the next episode of Marketing Jam. This is a very special one as we are shooting it kind of more on the fly in the moment. This is a very timely story to do with COVID, and I honestly think it's one of the cool stories I have seen and heard coming out of COVID to do with marketing, to do with how people are reacting as a business. You hear the term pivot all the time, and I think this has been one of the most, fascinating pivots I've seen and heard of. And I'm not the only one. Ryan Reynolds agrees that this is amazing. So why don't you tell me, just before we jump into what you guys have been doing, kind of give me about kind of what your business is, kind of pre-COVID, and what you guys chose to do because of COVID.
Yeah, for sure. We are a full-service video production agency based here in Kelowna, BC. So we primarily work on commercial projects. So working with clients like Expedia or Fairmont Hotels, helping them kind of bring their stories to life, their brand to life. We obviously, when kind of everything kind of shifted and the social landscape started changing, we kind of had to think, hey, all of our shoots are either postponed or canceled. What can we do to continue to move forward and stay creative? And yeah, that's kind of where the whole idea for Adsolation came about.
Here we are.
Adsolation. Okay, describe Adsolation that those that haven't heard this yet.
So Adsolation, the concept is every single day we conceptualize, storyboard, shoot, edit, and post an ad within 24 hours. It's up on our Instagram by 8 p.m. So we go into the week with like a bit of a general idea of what brands we might do or some general concepts. But day of, we go really hard and we plan everything out and we get it up by 8 p.m. every single day for a month.
Wow. And what day is it on now for you guys?
So we're doing it every weekday. So we're on day 17 right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So the way that I heard about you guys is I follow Ryan Reynolds on Instagram, and sure enough, in his stories, not only is he posting about great things about like, you know, how to stay safe and, you know, hilarious things that he's up to, but he posted your video about his aviation gin.
Yeah.
And sure enough, him and Blake both commented on the video as well. And I saw this and I just started following you. It was amazing you were doing all of these in one day. So how did you feel when you first saw this, maybe comment or share by?
We felt incredible. It was really interesting because the intention wasn't necessarily to get Ryan's attention. Obviously, that was an incredible added bonus.
Yeah.
But we had a really late night before. I mean, we'd had late nights all week. So I was in bed. It was like 6 a.m. And Glenn and Meg ran upstairs to my room and they were like, it happened. Ryan commented, Blake commented, Aviation Jen commented. And I'm just waking up like, what? And it was just a really cool feeling just to kind of get that recognition at like almost like a global scale, I'd say.
Yeah.
And so would you say you've done 17 so far of these videos?
We have, yeah.
Right, to date. What has the reaction been from other brands and other kind of folks that are working like they're I guess the social media person or you know?
Yeah, it's been really positive. It's been really cool to see from the beginning how we've kind of been able to grow a little community around this, not just on the brand side, but also just people who are like, hey, this is kind of interesting. This gives me something to watch when Netflix, maybe I've stopped binging my favorite show. Like, this is something different I can look forward to every day. So it's been really cool to like kind of have a little outlet for people to kind of take them behind the scenes on what it takes to build out an ad. And that's a cool part of it is we're not just shooting and posting at 8 p.m. We're also taking people behind the scenes in our stories all day long. So if you're interested in knowing what it takes to make an ad in a day, which is super unconventional and crazy, it's pretty interesting to kind of have people come along with us, and we're engaging with them all day long, so it's been really cool.
Yeah, and building off that, what I think is also really interesting is a lot of the time we'll do polls and questions to kind of let people have their say in what we want to create and how we create it. So it's really nice being able to also interact with the community, and I think they really enjoy it too. So it's really fun.
It's kind of like one of those choose your own adventure type things, where it's like, hey, tomorrow we have a gin brand or a cleaning product brand. What do you want to see? So it's really cool to be able to go to bed and be like, well, don't know what the poll's going to say in the morning, but we're going to be shooting something. So it's been cool.
Your Tide ad is my favorite of all the ones you've done so far, I have to say. I know it wasn't like you went for special effects with Aviation Gin and it was epic, but I feel like the Tide was just like, I could see that on TV. Like, and it engaged me. And I was like, yeah, I'm glad I bought Tide. That is how I feel when I use Tide.
Yeah.
Now you know where the laundry goes.
Yeah. For that one, the night before, Glenn and Con kind of had this vision. And I was like, I don't know, guys, that seems really out there. Like, I don't think we can pull this off. So it was really interesting to see it all come together and kind of just to collaborate on the go. That's what's really cool about this is we all, because it's such a short timeline, it's like, let's just, sorry for my language, but shoot the crap out of this and see what we can get and kind of build the story from there. It's definitely not the traditional way of doing things, but it's been working out quite well.
I would say it's taught us to be extremely agile. When things come up, you have to find a solution. There's no time to really have little disagreements as a team. It's like, guys, this is what we're doing. This is what we have to do. This is getting posted tonight, so let's go.
Wow. So we hear the term new normal a lot, right? And someone who works in the kind of advertising marketing world, and a lot of our listeners and viewers are in that world. Do you think you're creating a new paradigm now for brands to realize, wow, a video can be done in a day?
I think to an extent, yes. I mean, it's a lot of pressure. I think it shows that video can be done in a day and that we are maybe a lot more nimble.
Yeah.
I think we've heard a lot of talk recently about the agency on record being almost a thing of the past. People are looking for that agility, you know? So I don't necessarily think that it has to be done in a day, but I think it shows that things can be done a little bit quicker and a little bit less traditionally.
Definitely.
Yeah. And not to bring up Ryan again, but again, being that we're a Canadian show and we're both here in Canada, and he is a fellow Canadian, he was making a lot of news in the marketing ad world because of his response to the Peloton ad. Like, he took the actress from it, used her in a commercial for aviation gin, and everyone was blown up because it was all the media and marketing folks were saying, man, this is incredible. He produced a commercial in a month. That's never been done before, right? And it was almost like all these people were just blown away of how quickly he was able to respond. And so I'm thinking if he was getting that much news and awareness and marketing over a month, right, which normally takes months to produce, you guys are doing it in a day.
I think that's because we are such a small team, so we're really relying on one another, but it's also because we have complete creative freedom. Like right now, we're not having to go back and forth with the brand. There's no correspondence or anything of that matter. It's really just like we wake up, we think of an idea, and we shoot it. So I think that takes away such a big percentage of the time that goes towards creating new ads like this, because so much goes into the pre-production, where pre-production is literally an hour.
Absolutely.
So it's an interesting direction to take it for sure.
Yeah, which is a really interesting model going forward, because in order to keep doing it on this timeline, you have to have brands who can just completely trust you.
Yeah.
So that's difficult to find. It's going to be pretty hard to find brands that just say, okay, I hope you know our brand image, make us an ad of the day and we're going to post it. You know, it's difficult to do that.
Definitely. And I think moving forward, it's giving the option of what general direction are you looking for? Are you looking for something more dramatic, something more adventure focused, inspirational, that type of stuff? So in an ideal world, it'd be really nice to now kind of take a step back and with some of our clients to be like, here's a general kind of theme or mood of the ad that we could do, but maybe we can take a little bit more control on the creative side and get it done quicker for you as well.
And I think our value prop isn't necessarily just the fact that we can create an ad in a day, but it's the fact that we are building an audience who's really invested in these things and they're watching and they're following along. And we're genuinely having a little bit of influence on these people. Like, we've seen comments come in, I want to try these chips, I got to try this gin, you know? It's just a completely different way of doing advertising, I think.
Totally.
And the extreme opposite, and this isn't uncommon, is the design by committee model, right? Where eventually you get the most homogenized, generic video concept out there. And we've seen it. And I don't know if you've seen the video yet, where the summary of all the COVID ads.
I've seen that. Yeah, my fiance just sent that to me. Well, and it's all the same ad. It's all the same music. It's all the same tone. It's the same ad.
So I feel like what you're able to do, and it's almost like when you go somewhere and you kind of like roll a dice, or you go to a charity thing and you kind of pull a wine bottle from a wall, or you put your hand into a box and you pull something out. I think if a brand was to hire you and say, hey, I know I'm going to get something good out of this bag. I just don't know exactly what it is, but can I give you, like, here's my budget, here's the general scope, and let me see what you guys do with it. You know, and you know, the risk on it might be worth the reward for some brands.
For sure. Yeah, hopefully. That's what we're hoping for sure.
Yeah, and what are you hoping for then? Like, after this, like, are you going to keep going? Was this just kind of during COVID? Because eventually life's going to go back to some sort of.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, we never thought we would get the response that we did. We honestly went into this being like, this is just something we want to do to challenge ourselves to stay creative and kind of learn some new shooting techniques. So now that we've kind of seen that people are really enjoying this type of concept, we're kind of thinking, okay, obviously this is not sustainable to do every single day. It's exhausting. We're putting in like 15 to 17 hours a day. It's very tiring. But moving forward, what we would love to do is kind of create a series around it where every Wednesday we dedicate one day of our work week to creating one of these for a brand that we book in advance. So I think it'll be a really interesting way to see if this is something that brands could actually use moving forward, and it's a completely new model in market, I think anyway. So I'm curious to see what it'll be like.
And like we've already generated some brand interest, which is really cool. I think just because of the sort of wave that this has been making a little bit, people are like, oh, this is interesting. I want to reach out now while it's hot. So
exactly. And what's fun about it is it's more than just the final product they're getting. It's all day we're talking about it. We're able to kind of give people a behind the scenes of how to use the product, what we think of it, that kind of stuff. So it's definitely more of a value prop than just hiring a production agency and being like, okay, here's your final product.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone were like, and just throwing this number, if someone were to hire you guys and kind of say, hey, I give you the kind of the creative freedom, here's my, here's the paycheck, here's kind of like the gist of what I want to get, what would you say the range would be, what you probably need to charge for something like that?
We haven't really, this is something, we've been so busy with everything going on. It's such a different model. We're used to working on projects that are at a minimum 2 weeks to two or 3 months. So it just depends. It's such a new model, and trying to figure out what the value of our time with working crazy long days like that is. It's just such a different model. Yeah,
we're going to take a bit of a break after this to really strategize and kind of pull numbers and figure out what's realistic, what's tangible, what's going to work for brands, and what our value truly is. It's hard to put a number on it right now, but I think once we have time to take a step back and gain some perspective, it'll make a lot more sense.
The only thing comparable I've ever seen is what they call in the kind of the development kind of coding world is like FedEx days, where it's okay, in the morning you start with a concept or multiple teams each have a problem, and then they spend the day coding and they call it, you have to get it to FedEx by the end of the day. And usually, you hear about Google has special teams, or other, big companies have these micro kind of FedEx days to create really cool ideas and concepts. Mm-hmm. But I've never seen FedEx days in the world of marketing before. That's what I find so.
That's cool. That's really amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seemed like a fun idea. So it's really cool that it's gotten the traction that it is. And we've gotten so many different comments from so many different people, children who are inspired, adults who are in love with it. So it's really cool to see kind of how this has touched different communities.
Because otherwise, as a video agency, like many that are listening to the show and have video a part of what they do, or are full-on video agency, they've had to find other jobs, or they've gone on EI, or they've kind of had to shut down their shop. So, how have you guys been able to make it sustainably? Do you guys work other jobs, or are you able to do some videos by distance?
No, we've been really lucky. We've been slamming busy for the last few years on commercial work, and we really try to keep as much in our business as we possibly can. So we were set up pretty well for this, to be honest with you, and it worked out really well. So that financially, it hasn't been a stress on us. It's kind of been, hey, we've wanted to grow our community. We've wanted to be able to improve our skills. This is better than any video course or any conference we could have gone to, because we've just been forced to kind of learn so much in the last month. So we even see some of our past clients coming to us now being like, I didn't know you could create something like that, let alone in a day. So it's a total different way of doing video. And I think our quality and the product that we're now going to be able to put out after this is going to be so different. Which is really interesting.
And the three of us we're all partners, right? So it's easy for us to justify just taking a salary cut, paying ourselves the bare minimum out of the company, keeping everything. Our overhead's really low. So the rent on our office, we got half off. Our expenses are pretty minimal. So we've been really lucky in that way to have the chance to kind of just like take a month off, but also the busiest month of our life.
Yeah.
Amazing. Can I just say on behalf of everyone listening right now, thank you for not pressuring us or guilting us or providing another, noise out there of having another webinar. Like, come to our webinar. I feel like that's been the route most have gone, is like webinar, or go live. Like, everyone's going live with some idea or information.
Totally.
I feel like the way you respond and react, I haven't seen anyone else do it like you've done it.
Well, it's interesting. When this all kind of started, for the first couple of weeks, we were banging our heads against the wall. Like, we were like, hey, we have a bunch of this library, like this content in our libraries that we haven't posted. Let's just start posting old videos every day. Let's start like storying a little more. But it just didn't have, honestly, any effect. Like, we were trying to find different ways to like build a community and stay relevant, but it was just kind of falling short.
And trying to figure out how we can pivot and help brands through this kind of pandemic. But then at the same time, it's like, by the time you're getting in touch with these brands, for one, it's a horrible time to do any kind of reach out or build relationships. You can't build relationships very well in a pandemic. So it's just like, we talked about all these things and we're like, you know what, none of this is going to get us anywhere. Let's just do something completely for us. And it was honestly really terrifying at first. Like the night before going into it, we were all just like, have we bitten off way more? Because none of us have acted.
No, like we're acting in
roles.
every video, which is bonkers.
So it's just like, it was something that was really, really scary. But as soon as we started getting that response, it kind of just gives you this newfound confidence. And we just like, it's been super fun.
We kind of say the first couple videos of the series felt like kind of roop-de-doo. Like we were just kind of like, okay,
more relaxed,
more relaxed, like very safe. And then we did the ad for Yeti, and people just loved it. And all of a sudden it was like, okay, well, the bar's here. I guess we got to keep topping this.
That is amazing. And no brands have no negative response from brands saying like, oh, hey, please.
No, everyone, knock on wood for sure. No, everyone's been really excited and just honestly just kind of blown away that we're able to do this in a day. And also it's saying, hey, like once things start to settle down and we can all be in a room together, like let's start having those conversations. So that's really cool.
That is another interesting note about this, though, is we do have to think about things from a PR perspective. So there's been times where we've been mid-shoot and been like, is this going to go over very well? And had to pivot the whole plot because you don't want to offend anybody, right?
Exactly.
And have you been shipped, has Hardbite shipped you boxes of chips yet? Or Ryan, some gin?
Not yet.
Not yet. We're waiting on our gin still, too. So I think it's in the mail.
So did anything go beyond him sharing it in the comments that you were able to share to the audience?
Not yet. But what's been really great is we've actually built a really great relationship with I don't know who they are, but whoever runs the Aviation Gin social account. Ooh. Dog
Sorry about that.
That might be our gin there. But who's ever running the Aviation Gin social account, we've built a great relationship with them. So we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I have a feeling we haven't seen the end of Ryan yet. Jasper.
This is all part of the whole COVID interview. Is you need at least one baby appearance and a dog noise.
At least a dog barking.
Yeah.
That's
crazy. So
anyways,
those that have yet to see these videos, where can they find your videos right now?
Yeah, so all the videos can be found on our Instagram channel. The handle is @OnePeakCreative. We post, right now we're posting every night at 8 p.m., but moving forward, it'll be Wednesdays at 8 p.m. And
Okay, and that's Pacific Standard Time. We can all look forward to seeing them 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yes, sir.
The release, and then all through the day, if we have time, we can watch kind of the build-up of it and the making of it.
Yeah.
Or you can save all the stories for the end of the day, watch them all through, and then watch the video.
That's amazing.
What's kind of fun is we've saved all of the highlights and all of the behind the scenes. So if someone's just joining now, you can kind of go and say, hey, here's the Yeti video. I want to see what that day looked like for them. So you can kind of go through and binge everything if you're up for it.
That's amazing. Can you give any hints to brands that are coming up, or kind of what you got in the pipeline? Or is it kind of like you really are on the fly day by day?
We have one concept this week for the rest of the week that's not even fleshed out yet. So it's kind of just like we're flying by the seat of our pants like almost every day, which is not the best way to go about it. But I mean, it keeps us fresh, keeps us creative. So
that's awesome. And how have you chosen brands to date? What's been the process? Like, how did Tide get chosen, or Yeti, or Aviation Gin?
Honestly, it's whatever we have around. Like, because we're all in isolation, right? Over a month ago now, we all decided, hey, we're going to move in together and just completely self-distance together. And, okay, we're going to start this series. We need to just find things that we have around.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been it's been a big challenge. Sometimes we just open the cupboard. It's like, okay, well, I guess it's Heinz mustard today. But it's been cool.
That mustard one was awesome, by the way. Very
Stephane Dijon.
So is your mailing address public if people and brands that are listening want to mail you stuff with hopes of winning you over?
Which make the office?
It's not right now, but I can send it to you, and you can throw it in the show notes.
Okay. And brands that are listening are thinking, I want them so bad to video my product.
Yeah, just get them to send us an email. Our email's on Instagram. We've been really quick at responding to everybody. So yeah.
And then you'll have to start doing videos where you're like, hey, I just got this in the mail, opening it up, and you'll start these
Unboxing.
Yeah, unboxing. That's great.
And more about your firm. Tell me, what are some other brands or people that you've worked with that you love working with and kind of just want to highlight and point out?
I mean, we've built some really great relationships. We're really, really happy about just our recent relationship with, we did a campaign with Expedia just before all of this happened, along with Jillian Harris, who she's probably she's our favorite client.
Yeah,
we have an amazing working relationship with her. She's such a hard-working, driven, savvy businesswoman, and just overall a great person. So with them or with her and Expedia, I think that was a really cool relationship that we built.
Yeah, definitely. It was our first Canadian Super Bowl spot, so that was really cool. And yeah, it was a project that took a few months to kind of pull together, but it was an absolute blast. So yeah, that's probably one of our most recent.
It's a fun campaign.
Yeah,
that's really cool. Thank you both so much for giving up your time. I know you guys are tired. You're working crazy long days, and giving so much. And I think in a way you are inspiring our whole kind of advertising marketing world with what you are doing. Not only are you kind of changing the norm, but you're giving us kind of aspirations and inspirations every day. So thank you so much for what you're doing.
That's so sweet. Thank you for having us.
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll be hearing much more about One Peak Creative. Those that haven't gone to it yet, make sure you follow at One Peak Creative on Instagram, and you will see these videos in a day, ads in a day during ads. How do you say it again? Adsolation? Did I say that right? Adsolation. All right. Thanks for joining us this week on Marketing Jam for a special Adsolation COVID edition, and we'll see you next time on the Jam.